Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997 back with another figure review. This time, my Marvel Select Anti-Venom. Okay, now this is probably the newest Marvel Select that's come out. As you can see here in the box, I just picked him up from my local comic shop. Now, right off the bat, the detail on this guy is fantastic, especially around the head. There's a lot of nice detailing in the face there that you're not going to be able to make out on the camera. Okay, but moving on. There he is on the side there. And on the back of the box you have Anti-Venom up here, along with Captain Marvel and Wolverine. That Wolverine will actually be getting a first appearance figure, which I am very much looking forward to. Okay, now a little about Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom has popped up in this the Spider-Man series New Ways to Die. At least I think that's what it was called. On the heels of that One More Day arc. Now, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I did read One More Day, and I read about 7 issues after that, and it lost my interest. Now, basically, Anti-Venom is Eddie Brock. Eddie was dying of cancer. He had sold the symbiote off, and it had since went through 3 to 4 hosts, actually going back to him once. Wound up on Matt Gargan, who was the former Scorpion, who is now on the Thunderbolts. Now, Eddie was dying of cancer, and he popped up during the Back in Black line, where it was revealed that Venom was still in his head, messing with him. He was actually going to kill Aunt May, but he couldn't do it. He slashed his wrist multiple times trying to get the symbiote out. And then when Peter walked in the room, he showed him his wrist and flung himself out a window. Spider-Man did save him, or Peter. He wasn't dressed as Spider-Man. And then at the end of the book, you saw that Venom was still present in his mind, but Eddie had full control over him. Now, there was this character in the new arc called Mr. Negative who looks just like a normal guy with a negative color scheme. You can set anything to negative, I can set this camera to negative, and that's exactly what the guy looks like. Now, he basically cured Eddie of the cancer that was killing him and bonded the Venom cells that were still in his body to his white blood cells. Now, then, it was kind of a crazy arc, but anyways, he ended up like this. The original Venom symbiote is still out there. I do believe it's still attached to Gargan, who was the former Scorpion, like I've already said. But this Venom is actually kind of a good guy. He's worked with Spider-Man, actually, against the Thunderbolts. He actually had a standoff between him and Gargan in the older symbiote suit, but the symbiote on Gargan would not allow him to kill Brock, even though he had beaten him. Also, one of his powers, he's actually able to cure people. He cured a girl of her heroin addiction, and he tried to cure Spider-Man of his radioactive blood, which, like I said, I've given up reading the Spider-Man books. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem in the future or what. It seems like it would. Okay, but without further ado, let's pull this bad boy out of the box. Okay, and here Anti-Venom is out of the box. Now, he's very nice. I gotta say right off the bat, I actually really like this guy. See him on the base, which looks like a lot of debris, like he crashed through a wall. Okay, now onto the figure. Pull him off here. Slide this off to the side. Okay. Now, there's a lot of really nice paint on this guy. I mean, I haven't seen him in the books, but from what I've seen online, this guy gets him spot on. His hands are huge. Same for both hands. Okay, he has a shoulder joint and elbow joint. The elbow joint is a little stiff, but it will work it around. And a wrist joint, which moves very easily. Same for both arms. Torso joint. The head moves very slightly, almost to the point that it doesn't matter. Okay, now the leg joints were kind of weird because it has the ball joint right here, and then it has a different joint. Which I really thought, just one joint would have sufficed, but oh well. Okay, knee joint, although it's really stiff, almost to the point that it doesn't work really well, and an ankle joint, which also has some issues moving, but to connect to the base, really shouldn't be moved. Onto the back, you'll see that he has the same spider color scheme. Now, that jaw is awesome. You can actually see the bit hanging down. I mean, there's a lot of really, really nice detail on the face, as well as all these little raised bumps all over him, like the symbiote is moving and living, especially on the head. All those are kind of sharp. It kind of hurts to handle this guy, but that's actually a good thing. Now this is a great figure. He allows for some good posability, and he just looks really creepy on a shelf, which is a good thing because that's what he's going for, I think. Okay, onto the base. These two pieces connect to these two piles of bricks. You just push them on and they stay very well. I guess this is supposed to be the symbiote coming up. I'm not really sure. And like I've said, the base looks like a destroyed city street. There's his foot pegs. There it is from the back. Not wall mountable, which this one really doesn't need to be. But a very nice base. The symbiote coming up that high actually really put some nice a little touch on there. So I really enjoyed it. Now overall, like I've said, I gave you the little overview of this guy before I took him out of the pack. He's a new Marvel Select. He came right on the heels of the Captain Marvel one. And while I didn't read the Spider-Man series, I did have a request to do this guy, and I didn't know if I was going to pick him up or not, but seeing him at the comic shop, he looked really cool, so obviously I wanted to try him out. I didn't have him on the foot pegs there, that's why he fell. He connects to the foot pegs very well. But yeah, I actually really love this guy. Here's his little piece of marketing fluff. It's the same as you've been getting with the past figure, except it has Anti-Venom, Captain Marvel, and the Kree armor variant. I have had a request to do Captain Marvel, but I really don't know that much about him. I've heard some from a few of my subscribers. And I might get him, it all just depends. But overall, this guy, articulation's great, the legs could use a bit of work. Basically, I love his upper body articulation, and his lower body was lacking. But really, even the paint, as you can see on his legs here, if you rotate it, the paint's not going to match up. But like I said before, Marvel Select is meant to be posed, not played with. So that's acceptable. Now, the detail on him is fantastic. Down to the hands, there's a lot of black mixed in with the white, not just on the spider to make it look like the symbiote's really dirty almost, but I mean, it's all these little bumps and like it's living, really bring the figure off. And the head sculpt is some of the nicest I've ever seen in Marvel Select. They really outdid themselves on this head sculpt. I mean, the eyes, the paint, it's all just fantastic. You can see the ridges there. But yeah, overall, I'm going to go 9 out of 10 on this guy. The leg articulation was lacking, but the base is top-notch, and the upper body is top-notch, as well as the detail is just phenomenal. I do recommend this guy. Like I've said, I haven't been reading the Spider-Man comics, but this guy is just a fantastic figure. Okay, but this is JTrain997, signing off. See you soon, YouTube.